Most gardeners think leaf mold is just, rotted leaves. That misunderstanding is exactly why they use it wrong, and why they never see the results it's actually capable of. Because, well, leaf mold isn't fertilizer, it's not compost. And if you treat it like either one, you'll end up with slow growth, weak plants, and soil that looks better but performs worse. Here's the real issue. Leaf mold doesn't feed your plants directly, it feeds the system around your plants. And if that system isn't set up properly, leaf mold just sits there doing almost nothing. I've seen people add thick layers of it into raised beds expecting explosive growth, only to get pale leaves and stalled crops. Not because leaf mold doesn't work, but because they misunderstood what it actually does. Before I figured this out, I made the same mistake. I treated all organic inputs the same: compost, scraps, leaf mold, thinking they all served the same purpose. That's when I started separating how I process inputs. And one tool that helped me control that early stage was the 4L electric composter for kitchen. It turns raw kitchen waste into a stable material quickly, which prevents one of the biggest mistakes, mixing unstable inputs with slow-acting ones like leaf mold. I'll leave the exact one I use in the description if you want to check it out. But the real shift came when I stopped expecting leaf mold to act like compost. So let's break this down properly, because once you understand this, your soil changes fast. Leaf mold is fungal dominant. That's the key difference. While compost is usually bacteria-driven and nutrient-focused, leaf mold builds structure. It increases water retention, improves soil texture, and creates the kind of environment where roots expand naturally instead of struggling through compacted soil. But here's the catch most people miss. It's slow, not just in how it forms, but in how it works. So, when I first tested leaf mold seriously, I set up 2 sections in the same garden bed. One got compost and the other got leaf mold. Everything else was the same. Same conditions, same crops, same watering. After about a week, the compost side clearly outperformed. There was faster growth, deeper color, and just more visible progress. That's where most people stop and say, compost is better. But I kept watching. By week 3, something started shifting. The leaf mold side didn't just catch up, it stabilized. The soil held moisture longer, plants handled heat stress better, growth became more consistent instead of those fast bursts followed by slowdowns. And, this is where leaf mold starts to show its real value. It's not about speed, it's about stability. Now here's where most gardeners go wrong again. They use leaf mold alone. That's like building a foundation without adding fuel. You create structure, but you don't provide nutrients. Plants still need both. So I ran another test, this time combining them. A thin layer of processed compost for immediate microbial activity, followed by a lighter layer of leaf mold on top to protect and stabilize the system. That combination changed everything. Within days, the compost activated the soil. Within weeks, the leaf mold improved how that system held together. Moisture stayed consistent. Soil didn't compact. Roots spread wider and more evenly. And here's the part that really surprised me. I needed less input over time. Because the system became more efficient, nutrients stayed available longer instead of washing out or breaking down unevenly. This applies across different setups too. In raised beds, where soil dries out faster, leaf mold acts like a buffer. It slows evaporation and keeps microbial activity stable. In containers, it prevents that constant cycle of drying and re-watering that stresses plants. Even a thin layer makes a noticeable difference. In hydroponic systems, you don't use leaf mold directly, but the principle still matters. Systems that maintain stability outperform those that rely on constant correction. Now let's talk about the biggest myth I hear all the time. Leaf mold is just slow compost. That's completely wrong. Leaf mold is primarily broken down by fungi, not bacteria. That creates a different kind of soil environment, one that favors long-term structure over quick nutrient release. And if you're growing crops that rely on strong root systems, like tomatoes, peppers, or even leafy greens, that structure matters more than people think. Because roots don't just need nutrients, they need space, moisture balance, and consistent conditions. That's what leaf mold provides. But there's a mistake here that can ruin everything if you're not careful. Over-application. Adding thick layers of leaf mold can actually slow down your system too much. It reduces airflow and delays microbial interaction if there's no active input underneath. That's why I keep it light, usually less than a centimetre when layering over compost. Just enough to protect and stabilize, not dominate. And timing matters too. If your soil is completely dead, leaf mold won't fix it quickly. It needs an active system to work with. That's why pairing it with a faster input, like properly processed compost, makes such a difference. Now, here's something I didn't expect when I started using this combination consistently. Plant resilience improved more than growth speed. Crops handle stress better, heat, inconsistent watering, even minor nutrient gaps didn't hit as hard. The system absorbed those changes instead of reacting dramatically. That's when I realized something important. Most gardeners focus on pushing growth faster, but the real advantage comes from making growth more stable. Because once your system is stable, everything becomes easier. You don't have to constantly fix problems. You don't have to chase deficiencies. The soil does more of the work for you. And that's where leaf mold quietly becomes one of the most powerful tools you can use. If you understand it properly, if you're getting value from this kind of practical, tested approach, subscribe to the channel. This is where we focus on what actually works in real gardens, not just theory, because at the end of the day, soil isn't just about nutrients. It's about structure, biology, and how those two interact over time. Leaf mold isn't a quick fix, it's a system builder. And once you combine it with the right inputs at the right time, you stop chasing results and start creating a garden that performs consistently, season after season. If this changed how you see leaf mold, share it with someone who's been using it the wrong way and wondering why nothing's improving, and I'll see you in the next one.